Hi, everybody. Hey, we're here to talk about Nintendo. Finally, it's about time we had this conversation about Nintendo. What's going on over there, huh? What's going on with Nintendo? Am I right? You know what I'm talking about. The scandals? Kyoto? Shigeru Miyamoto? Christopher Pratt? You know, the big names of Nintendo. What are they doing over there? We're gonna find out. Maybe. We are about to tune in for a Nintendo Direct live stream featuring roughly 40 minutes of information mostly focused on Nintendo Switch games launching this winter. That's the plan right now. So what is this? Yeah, I don't know. We're gonna find out because it's starting right now. I'm still not hearing any audio from it, though. Okay, there we go. Let's get into this Rain Inferno Red Dragon. Get the morning started properly.
We live on the continent of Elios.
So true.
4 realms surrounding a holy land at its center. 1,000 years ago, our lands endured a vicious war with the fell dragon. We called upon heroes from other worlds to aid us, heroes known as emblems. With them, the warriors of our nations fought as one.
Emblems?
In the end,
warriors?
in defeating and imprisoning the fell dragon.
Fire emblems, fire and emblems and warriors.
Now,
if you had that in your bingo card, then
the binding
go back to I don't know. Hey, look at this. Huh? Oh shit, man! I'm tripping. I thought I saw a dragon. It was just a tree and a lady. This is fine. Okay, all right. We're starting to get to a point in the Nintendo Switch's life cycle where when they start announcing more and more games like this that are, you know, engage.
You're awake. Delicious pan pizza.
Wrong button.
That's how long the customer wants. What are those horrible things?
If I may.
Okay. Oh, all right.
You are a divine dragon. A member of a royal family of dragons revered as deities.
If I may explain, you're a guy with a dragon. You're a dragon blood. You can shout stuff.
I've had my eye on you.
The ring. Marth, right.
Marth is here. Everyone is here. Okay, so when they said warriors, I was just automatically assuming like, here we go. This is going to be just another Muso style game, but this is real. And maybe this has been honestly, I don't keep any track of any kind of what's going on with the Fire Emblem these days, other than boy, at some point did someone at Nintendo wake up like, what is it, 5, 6? No, like probably like more like 10 years ago now. And just say, hey, these Fire Emblem games, keep turning. We're going to make more of these now. More of these coming. More, keep them coming. We're feasting over here on Fire Emblem games. The franchises that you idiots grew up with as children, nope, more Fire Emblem. That's soon.
Hello, everyone. I'm Yoshiaki Koizumi, and I'll be your guide for today's Nintendo Direct. What you just saw was the latest installment of the Fire Emblem series, Fire Emblem Engage. In addition to the standard version, we'll also be
there's also going to be a QD version that's going to be less about side talking. Still kind of look like a taco, but
please look forward to more information about this game in the future. let's take a look at our first batch of headlines.
Did you hear about this queen? Like, he's just like ready to do like a Tonight Show monologue. Let's get into let's get into the headlines.
Cody and May's relationship is on the rocks. But it gets even tougher when they're turned into dolls. To get their bodies back, they'll brave an onslaught of challenges where working together is the only way forward. Team up and cooperate with a friend in this critically acclaimed two-player platforming adventure. Even the bumpiest.
Are they gonna do anything like put like a Mario in a princess costume in this or something?
Worlds filled with challenging experiences around every corner. In addition to single system play, the game can also be played on 2 systems via local wireless or online with a pal via the free Friends Pass. Help Cody and May return to normal. With a partner, of course. It Takes Two launches on the Nintendo Switch system November 4th. Pre-orders begin today on Nintendo eShop.
Word.
The forbidden story begins.
No. I can't see this. I'm not allowed to.
After mysteriously vanishing as a child, Ruka Minazuki visits an abandoned hospital in search of her lost memories.
I mean, where else would you look, really? Therapy? Pfft. No, we're going to the spooky hospital.
Repel evil spirits and
With my
uncover
camera
memories that
for
were sealed
ghosts.
away. A dark curse looms near.
Hey, I'm a dark curse. Look at my stubble. Oh, no.
Fatal Frame, Mask of the Lunar Eclipse launches for the first time in the West on Nintendo Switch next year. There's a new hero who looks mechanical?
Stretchy arms? His arms too?
Introducing
No.
Wave 2 of the Xenoblade Chronicles 3 expansion pass for the Xenoblade Chronicles 3 game. This is Ino, a new hero. She appears to be, mechanical?
I mean, you said she was mechanical like 30 seconds ago. You can't now be like, hello? Bestie, this new hero seems to be, mechanical?
Test your mettle in consecutive battles against tough enemies. Defeat all enemy waves to earn rewards. Challenge even stronger enemies to earn valuable accessories and special outfits.
That's special outfits like shirtless with jean
More
shorts.
hero and gameplay additions will arrive in Wave 3.
John Cena mode.
Xenoblade Chronicles 3 expansion pass
Cena
launches on
Cena
Nintendo
Blade.
Switch
Is this
October
anything?
13th.
Xena Blade Chronicles 3. Hello.
Get drawn into these
I just woke
Nintendo
up.
Switch games.
Drawn to death for Nintendo Switch.
Nonsense
Oh.
begins when SpongeBob and Patrick make a wish that unravels the very fabric of the universe. In this 3D platforming adventure, you'll travel through portals to 7 outlandish wish worlds, like prehistoric kelp forest and Wild West jellyfish fields. Explore using all sorts of wacky moves, don over 30 fantastic cosmic costumes,
We need to get back
and
to
meet your
more
favorite Bikini Bottom residents from the TV series, voiced by
licensed
their original actors.
/ mascot platformers.
SpongeBob SquarePants: The
A simpler
Cosmic Journey,
time.
launching on Nintendo Switch next year. You're already fit? Box with familiar
Yes.
characters from Fist of the North.
Yes.
They'll be your
Yes.
instructors in exercise mode, leading you
Hell
through
yes.
various boxing
Are you
drills.
kidding me?
Defeat as many enemies as you can with just your fists in battle mode.
Yeah.
Or take on rivals in boss battles.
Okay.
Including Jaggy. Fitness boxing.
Fitness boxing.
Launches on Nintendo Switch March 2023.
Does it use the hoop? Probably
Save
not.
Your uncle's dodgeball. Throw whatever you can at opponents in this hilarious
Fist of the North Star punching game. I mean, they did that arcade game.
Absurdity of frantic
Not
minigames
that was
while
that, but-
featuring ridiculous rules in madcap arenas. Customize your character from head to toe with hundreds of accessories. Plus, challenge up to 6 friends and frenemies in local and online play. They won't even know what hit them. Oddballers launches on Nintendo Switch early next year. A small fox.
You heard of this
washes
Tunic?
ashore on a ruined
You heard of this?
island. Brave
Tunic.
the unknown in this isometric action-adventure game. Your only clue here
You should
is
check
the
out
manual.
Tunic.
Traverse the island's interconnected realms to retrieve.
In some ways, it's
missing
weird that
pages.
Tunic did not appear on a Nintendo platform
Dangerous
sooner,
traps,
but
even more dangerous monsters lurk around every corner.
considering, you know, its inspirations.
What long-lost secrets will the island reveal? Tunic launches on the Nintendo Switch system September 27th. Pre-orders begin
That's
today
very soon.
on Nintendo eShop.
Yeah, I wonder how that'll run.
New intel.
But that, you know, whatever. That
Mission
even that
remakes.
footage there looked a little framey,
Full
and
remakes of 2 Front Mission games are storming in. In Front Mission 1 Remake, you'll pilot giant machines called Bonzers in tactical turn-based combat.
yeah,
As you progress,
Bonzers.
you'll learn skills that can help you gain the upper hand against opponents. You can also test your mettle at the Coliseum.
metal, because they're robots made them.
Continue the battle in the
Oh, I'm
sequel.
receiving word it's a different type of metal. Okay,
Outside
all right.
of Japan, take advantage of additional features like more terrain effects, weapon and armor attributes, and over 80 new skills added from the first game. Front Mission 1 Remake launches on Nintendo Switch this November.
Forever Entertainment.
Mission 2
So, I
Remake
mean,
will launch
obviously
on
the stuff's,
Nintendo
yeah,
Switch
copyrights
next
developed
year.
by Storm
In
Trident.
the future, a remake of Front Mission 3 will also launch on Nintendo Switch.
Hashtag Wanzers are back.
It's a wonderful life for a new generation.
That's great.
After nearly 20 years, a beloved farming experience is
Yeah, it's hard to know.
reborn.
I don't know. You know, it's I don't know.
Welcome back to Forgotten Valley. Here,
You know, if
you'll
it's their
manage a
feed
farm
or what's
passed
going
down to
on,
you
but
by your
like
father.
this game also looks a little framey,
Restore and expand your farm as you nurture
or at least it
crops,
did in that running
care
sequence.
for your friendly animals, and help the land flourish.
Boom, flourished.
Befriend the townsfolk while you're out and about in the valley. You might even meet your future partner and start a family. In this installment, those around you will grow older as time goes on.
Oh, good.
Their appearances will change over the years. Your
You'll be
child
able to
will also
shovel their
choose
lifeless
career
corpses into
based on
shallow
how you
graves
expect.
just outside of town.
An especially wonderful farm life in Forgotten Valley lies ahead. Story of Seasons, A Wonderful Life launches on Nintendo Switch, summer 2023.
Hashtag SOS wonderful. I mean, story seasons, obviously. But it's like, whoa. Launching this winter, Splatoon 3. Wait.
The first post-launch Splatfest for Splatoon 3 has been confirmed. Here's the theme. What would you bring to a deserted island? Gear, grub, or fun?
Gear. I mean, food is a limited resource.
Incredible possibilities. Which team will you join?
So, you know, grub would be useless. Fun. Who has time for fun? The island, the deserted island is fun itself.
Splatoon 3. Be on the lookout for more info in the future.
So, squids.
So squids, am I right? Yeah, you
What
see
would
these
you bring
squids
to a deserted
in the
island?
headlines here.
As for me, I've already
My classic
decided.
car collection.
I hope you'll all participate as well. Next, please take a look at this.
Babylon's Fall is coming to Switch and shutting down the next day.
Introducing a brand new game in the Octopath Traveler series.
Mm-hmm.
8 new travelers embark on a journey through the land of Celestia.
With that, we could realize a world without conflict, without bloodshed.
I'm going to become a star and bring smiles to people's faces. just like Mama.
I'm hitting the road. I'll be back once I eliminate that devil called poverty from the world.
Just me and my hat. Wait, you're a merchant and you're going out on the road? Oh, so you're... I'm gonna go out there and sell stuff. Also eliminate poverty.
Stench of blood.
Doubt is what I do.
Leave the hunting to me. You'll have all the tasty meat you want.
Check that out.
I need to rediscover who I am.
Explore a wide world set in a bustling era.
Looks very nice.
Each traveler's path action.
I know every time they make another one of these tilt shifted HD 2D HD games, it feels like there are a couple more people that jump on the bandwagon of saying that they look like garbage or that the effect is too much and it is overdone. But I don't know. I guess it's easy for me to say as someone who doesn't necessarily play these games and just watches this stuff and go, I think these games look incredible.
Where will their journeys lead them and you? Octopath Traveler 2 launches on Nintendo Switch February 24th, 2023.
That's not that far off.
What you just saw was Octopath Traveler 2 from
Oh.
Square Enix.
Really? Okay. Wait a minute. I thought it...
Please look forward to the journeys of 8 new heroes. Let's see some more headlines.
I don't know that you need this dude in here as much because it's not like he's just like, what you just saw was the thing you just saw, and now here's, like, he's never, there's no insight to it. It's like, and now here's more.
Your new fairy tale life in Fae Farm. Cultivate your homestead and forge everlasting friendships in this farm simulation RPG. Discover magical spells to grow crops. Face off against mischievous foes.
Mm-hmm.
And explore the enchanted realms of Azoria. Along the way, you'll befriend a lively cast of characters who call this island their home. Tend and grow your fairy tale farmstead solo or together with up to 4 players in local or online multiplayer. By gathering resources and crafting items, you'll be able to customize your home and enjoy this mesmerizing adventure even more. As the seasons change, new spellbinding surprises can be unlocked that'll help you
In this
restore
game, you will
Azoria to
also
its
grow
natural
old and die.
splendor.
No.
Magic awaits in Fae Farm, launching exclusively on Nintendo Switch spring 2023. It's a musical blast from the past. Celebrate the 35th anniversary of the Final Fantasy series with the latest theater rhythm game. Enjoy iconic songs like One Winged Angel, Torn from the Heavens.
You had me at the vaguely kind of ska-esque music up front. I was like, yes, give me ska remixes of Final Fantasy classics.
Experiencing the series through the music. In addition, 2 players locally can complete stages in pair style, while up to 4 players can battle to the beat in online multi-battle. Theater Rhythm Final Bar Line begins.
The Switch is really well suited for rhythm games because it's, it has its own screen and you can dial in the latency to, what you know those screens to be. And
paid DLC songs from the Saga series.
Okay. Yeah.
Nier series.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Yes. Sure.
Octopath Traveler.
I've heard of it.
Live Alive and more will be released.
Yeah.
That's 90
Hell
additional
yeah.
songs. Plus, editions containing a season pass and 27 extra songs, including Melodies of Life, will be available.
Special songs, not individually available for sale. It's a lot of music. They've made a lot of Final Fantasy games and Final Fantasy adjacent games over there, it turns out.
Blast off on an adventure of galactic proportions with Mario and the Rabbids. Let's dive into exploration. Freely roam through all sorts of wondrous worlds, each one jam-packed with discoveries.
Is it weird to say that the modern coin collection noise that they use in this game, like when they change, that it changed
Help out the locals with their
around, maybe, was it like New Super Mario Brothers that they introduced the new coin noise? Is it weird that it doesn't? I don't like it.
After
Is it
each
weird that
quest
I'm
or
like,
battle,
ugh,
your team will earn rewards and
give
get
me the
stronger.
actual coin
Sparks
collection
are here to
noise.
lend a helping hand.
This
Recruit up to
stupid
30 different sparks,
other
each
coin
with their
collection
own
noise.
Special powers and skills. They can help spark a decisive victory.
It sounds fake. It sounds like someone trying to make a bootleg coin collection
Mario
noise
Rabbids
to me.
put an end to the darkness? Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope launches on Nintendo Switch October 20th. Pre-orders are available now on Nintendo eShop.
All right.
A gold edition can also be pre-ordered, containing the base game, weapon skins, and a
The
season
base
pass.
game.
Restore peace between humans and
I will
monsters.
not. I will fight monsters until my dying day, friend.
Take a break from quests to chat with the locals, cultivate crops. And
How
care for
many
monsters.
games involving
Among
crops
other relaxing
will we
activities.
see today?
You can also
How many more
transform
are there going to
into a
be?
monster? Your abilities
You can
to battle
farm in this
competitions
game.
with
Did
the
you know
locals
that there are
will
games where you can
vary
do
your
this?
form.
Is
Your choices will also cause different events.
and
to
this is not.
occur.
I'm not
Plus,
fucking
a brand new mode
casting
fanatic to help you
shade
enjoy more
at
quality
games
time with your
involving
game-based
farming
spouse.
because I
Rune
think that
Factory
these games
Special
are.
launches on
My
Nintendo
wife
Switch
loves
next year.
a couple of the Rune Factory games, to be honest. But dang, there's like 3 or 4 different games in this thing
Plus,
that
a
you
new
could just
Rune Factory
are
series will
relatively
launch in the future.
interchangeable. Wait, a new Rune Factory series. So is that like a new sub-series of Rune Factory? Is this a Rune Factory fighting game? What are we doing?
Pilot Wings 64. Mario Party.
No.
Mario Party 2.
Why? What?
Mario Party 3.
You fucking scumbags.
Pokemon Stadium.
Okay.
Pokemon Stadium 2.
All right.
1080 snowboarding.
All right.
Excite Bike 64.
Oof.
These games will
That game's not bad, but that looked a little rough right there.
Nintendo 64 games and enjoy many more gaming benefits with an active Nintendo Switch.
I'm gonna
Online Plus
cancel
expansion
my
pack membership.
Expansion pack so that I don't want a Switch that can run those games. Is it Sin and Punishment? What is this? Oh. Okay. Right. Okay, so they get their version of the announcement out first.
Why not mix things up with these Nintendo Switch games?
Why not? In this Nintendo Switch game, you get to run a farm and die.
On the newly discovered continent of Antuisia in this immersive RPG. Perform over 100 types of daily tasks to build character and deepen your relationships with the locals. In doing so, you'll gain access to different job classes and abilities. A grand adventure into the unknown awaits.
It's always funny that like before
later today.
That's soon.
A malfunction causes you to
Oh no, my
crash land on a
farm.
strange planet.
You crashed on my
Build a
farm.
new rocket from scratch.
Guess we got to build a factorio on top of my farm. We were farming over here.
For materials. Then build machines to refine them into various resources.
It's always funny that people go into these things going like, man, maybe they'll announce another Mario game. Maybe they'll announce this. Maybe they'll probably show the new Zelda. They'll probably do this. And then it's like 35 minutes of games involving farming and Square RPGs.
With her parents in this
And then maybe you get one thing
exploration
at the
adventure.
end.
She wanders through a busy gallery by the artist Guertena until
Factorio on a Switch seems insane.
Will she be able to safely return to her own world? Every decision affects her fate in IB. Launching on Nintendo Switch spring 2023. Mario Strikers Battle League, where 8 players.
I'm putting on my sports voice for the sports game. A second free update for
Joining the
sports.
roster are Pauline, a physical powerhouse with fast movements and strong tackles. And Diddy Kong, a midfield speedster.
A total dumbass.
Techniques and high pass accuracy.
An absolute idiot.
Plus, more gear and another stadium are being added. The second free update launches this month. The final summer begins.
Dude, tell me about it.
とある予感がした。どこまでも眩しくて想像しいあの夏が始まる。そんな予感が。
When strange islands suddenly appear, Ryzen and friends set sail to investigate in order to protect their homeland from impending danger. Sprawling landscapes set the stage for your adventure. Freely explore this vast world
this looks cool.
and forge your own path in this charming RPG.
These games.
11 heroes from all walks of life will join your party. During battle, work with your allies to activate various skills, which can be swapped out when needed. Teamwork is paramount after all.
Shift change.
New features are also in store. The keys to this lively adventure are in your hands. Atelier Ryza 3.
Atelier.
Alchemist of the End and the Secret
Atelier. I don't know that I've ever heard it pronounced out loud.
February 24th, 2023.
Atelier.
Wave 3 is on the way.
Sick.
Here's a sneak peek at 2 courses racing into Wave 3. Merry Mountain from Mario Kart Tour.
Was Tour the mobile game? Or is Tour the
Peach Gardens from Mario Kart DS.
Is the Tour.
Wave 3
Yeah.
of the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe Booster Course.
Hey, we're going to put these
DLC
courses
for the
into a
Mario
game that
Kart
people
8
actually
Deluxe
like.
game launches this
What do you
holiday.
think?
Active Nintendo Switch Online Plus expansion pack members can enjoy this DLC at no additional cost. The DLC can also be purchased on its own.
How was that? Next, we have some news to share about
How was
Nintendo
that?
Switch Sports.
Oh, right. They still have to
In the
put
next
stuff into
free
this, don't they?
update, Golf will be added.
Feels like I don't. Maybe you're different, but it really feels like this game
Of course,
came and
play
went
these locally.
in like a week or less.
Additionally, up to
Like
8
people were
players
talking about it, like,
online can play
hell
the
yeah,
same time
they're
on
putting out a new
the
Wii
same
Sports,
course
and they
in
came out, and people were like,
survival.
yeah,
Those with the
okay,
most strokes will be
all right.
out.
Ooh, everyone golfing at
Previously
once.
announced that the update would release this fall. However, we'd like a bit more time for development, so the update is now planned for this holiday. Please wait just a little longer.
Okay,
Next, we have a special guest,
for you, I'll wait.
Mr. Miyamoto.
Hello, it's been a while.
They won't let me out of this.
I have a
staging
few things
area.
to share with you today, including some news. First, as you may have heard, the Super Mario Bros. Animated movie we're developing with Chris Meledandri from Illumination will release next spring.
Right.
And Super Nintendo World, which is entering its second year at Universal Studios Japan, will also open in Hollywood, California, in the US. Recently, we've been working on the finishing touches for both.
Anyway, see you later.
Today, I'd like to talk a little bit about Pikmin. It's been over 20 years since the first game, and we're still working on the series. This is Pikmin Bloom. It's a smart device game we started with Niantic late last year, in which players all over
It's
the world
not
are
good.
planting flowers.
For all the
Here's a quick rundown.
you know,
of the
Pokemon
game
Go
for those who have yet to play it.
and all that sort of stuff, like Pikmin Bloom, there's just not.
Pikmin Bloom is a smart device game that uses your location. By walking outside, you can find Pikmin.
Are they just like,
and
man,
plant
no one's
flowers
playing
together.
Pikmin Bloom. Maybe if we give it a showcase spot here, people will
All you
remember
need
it
to do is
exists.
take it with you on your
Because
daily walks or outings.
I ran Pikmin Bloom
Look
for
back at the end of the day and see where you walked.
2 months, something like that.
Pikmin and collect
And
the items they found that
Then
day
I was like, you know what? This is pointless. Like
and
it's
feed them
I don't
nectar to increase their petals.
the interaction with the environment, the whole like
So, how
go
many
to
steps did you take today?
a point of interest. Like there's a park near the house that I could go to, and we could all put our juice whatever into it to grow it. And people were doing that for a while, and
let's take a quick look at my screen. I have nearly 700.
Like, if this is like their idea of we've got to give Pikmin Bloom the rub, get Miyamoto out here,
Nectar like you see here.
it's a real bummer.
You'll also see the number of steps you've taken that day.
Like, this is all stuff that's been in this game since launch. Like, this is like baseline description of what this thing is. It's not like, hey, here's these hot new features. It's like, hey, did you hear about this?
Within Kyoto, but I've also been going to Osaka, to Universal Studios Japan.
Like, it's just, there's the interaction is just too slight, and the rewards are not
try walking here. It makes trips
worth it.
A lot of fun. It's a very easygoing play experience you can enjoy just by taking it with you. I hope you'll try it out. Okay, now to the main event.
Okay.
Please take a look at
Anyway.
this.
I've never been a Pikmin guy, so please let that be all of it.
That's right. Pikmin
Oh,
4
man.
will launch in 2023. We won't be showing any gameplay today. However, you'll be able to play like this.
Hot.
From the Pikmin's perspective near the ground. I also made a new t-shirt. Nintendo Switch
He's got a
has made
screen
controlling
print
games
set up
simpler,
in his
meaning you
office.
can
It's just
further
like,
concentrate
I'm just
on
making this
all
myself.
parts
This
of
is just
Pikmin
what I
game.
do now.
We call it dandori in Japanese, or strategically planning, deploying, and commanding the Pikmin. I hope you're all looking forward to Pikmin 4. Thank you, Mr. Koizumi.
Thank you very much, Mr. Miyamoto.
Okay, so it looks like
Let's move on. to
Microsoft
some more
announced their
headlines.
GoldenEye as well. Coming to Game Pass is really the only detail there.
Take your dancing game to the next level.
I will. I am ready to take my dancing game to the next level. Uh-huh. Okay. Yeah. It's such a, I mean, I don't know. The technology was rough, and there was just a lot of stuff. And that's probably what this was the deciding factor. But it just, every time I see a Just Dance game, all I can think is, wow, the wrong dance game won. We went wrong somewhere as people, as a society, that Just Dance became the, like, look at all the other alternatives we had with a Dance Dance Revolution or Dance Central or any of these other things that were just like better video games with more interesting body tracking options. And that Just Dance, the game where it's like, I don't know, hold your phone and wiggle around. Like that's the game that
Can you survive
that
the season of
survived.
death?
Can I survive the season of death? Only if I'm farming.
The season of death.
Did no one watch this and go like, we've got to space these out. Let's have a separate, like, harvest themed direct. You know, in a couple of weeks or something.
Allies with different motives will join your cause. While facing
I'm here to farm.
you begin to uncover the truth of this ill-fated world. After this presentation, a demo containing the opening days of your farm's first season will be available on Nintendo eShop. Save data can be transferred to the full game once purchased. Harvestella launches on Nintendo Switch November 4th.
It's just a lot of farms.
Devilishly good time.
Okay, Bayonetta, hear me out.
After
The
500 years,
she needs
a relic
food.
Bayonetta was
She's
reborn
learned how to
in the
grow it.
present day. In the first Bayonetta game, she clashed with angels to recover her lost memories. And in the second, confronted demons to save her best friend.
Now, it's harvest
Now,
season.
In this third installment, she'll fight to protect the world from the sudden invasion of man-made bioweapons called homunculi.
Don't worry, I know this song by heart.
She's gone from fighting for herself to fighting for others to fighting for the world. Those who have
As we just
overcome
explained.
past histories with Bayonetta to fight alongside her include the journalist Luca and another Umbra witch, Jean. New ally Viola also joins in on the action. A hair-raising,
Say hair because of the hair. Because of hair.
trotting adventure awaits.
This is another game that this. Okay, great. Yes, put it out
Nintendo Switch, October 28th.
as previously
Available now
announced.
on Nintendo eShop.
They're gonna put it out.
After today's
And
Nintendo
awesome.
Direct, a new trailer delving more into gameplay will launch on our official YouTube channel.
But we just don't have time to show it here. Gosh, our big thing of trailers just can't. We got to keep it to 40 minutes. It couldn't be 43 minutes. I'm really sorry, guys. You're gonna have to go watch this trailer somewhere else because, geez, we don't have. Have you heard about the Pikmin phone game?
Master detectives who come from all around the world.
What a terror. What the? Oh man.
Meet Yuma, an amnesiac detective, and Shinigami, the spirit haunting him after their pact.
Shinigami?
Dive into these unsolved cases as a trainee at the detective agency. Thoroughly inspect each crime scene to gather clues and evidence. When you're ready, Shinigami will conjure a realm tying the crime scene to the truth. A mystery labyrinth. Overcome obstacles and manifestations of mysteries to edge closer to the actual events.
Shinigami loves it when you edge closer.
Mystery phantoms will attempt to hinder your progress during each case. Avoid their barrage of falsehoods and slash through contradictions.
This looks cool.
Uncover the secrets of Master Detective Archives Rain Code, launching first on the Nintendo Switch system spring 2023. Enter the village if you dare.
I don't dare. It's a little Cloud.
In the Resident Evil series is coming to Nintendo
Cloud
Switch
Strife
as a
is your
cloud
lead
version.
character in this Switch exclusive version of.
Ethan Winters must face the horrors of the village and its 4 fearsome lords to rescue his
Has any of
adopted
these
daughter.
Cloud versions of games on the Switch done
Village Cloud
well at all?
launches on Nintendo Switch, October
I feel like you
28th.
hear about them pre-release and then they come out and people go
You
like,
can download and
yeah.
try out the free demo today on Nintendo eShop to pre-order the full game.
But they don't run great. They don't.
The Winter's Expansion DLC, containing a new third-person mode, additional story content, and more, will launch December 2nd.
And a farming mode.
Additionally
To the
other
additional
recent
modes.
entries in the Resident Evil series will be available as cloud versions on Nintendo Switch this year.
Nintendo needs new hardware. This is fucking stupid.
It's an action-packed lineup of Nintendo Switch games.
Is it?
Vanquish foes to avenge your father in this kung fu action brawler. By thrusting, tripping, and parrying opponents, you'll break their stance and gain the upper hand. Fall in combat and you'll get older and weaker. In turn, however, you'll learn new techniques to complete your mission. Can you exact revenge before your time runs out?
Well, how's this? Yeah, this will probably run okay on
begin
Switch.
today on Nintendo eShop. Experience the events leading up to Final Fantasy VII in this exhilarating action RPG. Zack Fair is a young and ambitious soldier operative aspiring to become a hero. Together with Sephiroth and Cloud, he investigates strange
What's up?
disappearances within his elite unit. This remaster features enhanced HD graphics, an updated combat system, and new soundtrack arrangements. Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII Reunion launches on
Fucking
Nintendo
keep
Switch
hitting the
December
drum
13th.
buttons. Keep jungling it up.
Classic arcade shoot 'em up Radiant Silver
Okay, yeah,
Gun
there was some kind of Radiant Silvergun related
different types of weapons to take
thing
down
that
latest
showed up.
enemies.
People weren't sure if it was just going to be a re-release or a new game, but
Same color for a chain bonus.
it's a
Or
good
take
game.
down
I don't know if it's still a
different colored
zillion
guns
dollars
for
on the
a bonus.
Saturn. I remember it was back in the day.
Rack up these bonuses for a high score. Radiant Silvergun launches on Nintendo Switch later today.
Oh, cool.
Recruit a team of shipwrecked heroes and make your way out of a derelict space station in this roguelike game set in the endless universe.
Roguelike
But
game.
It's not as easy as it sounds. You'll have to fend off continuous waves of monsters as you make your way through procedurally generated levels. Complete various quests to unlock new heroes, weapons,
This has a style to it.
stationaries, and more. Up to 3 players in online co-op can attempt to escape their grim fate. Do you have what it takes? Endless Dungeon launches on Nintendo Switch next year.
I mean, they got to have one big send-off thing, right?
Journey of World
We're at the 40-minute mark here, so they're going to wrap up real quick.
Remaster of Tales of Symphonia is coming to Nintendo Switch. The world of Silverrond is controlled by shadowy forces called Desians. To stop them,
Hey,
a
stop
person
slacking
known
off,
as the
swine.
Chosen One must ascend the Tower of Salvation.
I really hope that's true.
Lloyd soon embarks on a journey with Colette, the current Chosen One, and his childhood friend in this beloved action RPG. They'll meet allies along the way, like the wandering aristocrat Zelos, and a lumberjack who lost her emotions after an experiment, Presea.
Uh-huh.
Other allies will also join the
A
party.
lot of role-playing hitting the Switch.
The fate of two
Remakes, new
interconnected
games,
worlds hangs
just
in the
a lot. Just a lot of that. A lot of that coming to
Symphonia
Switch.
Remastered begins its journey on Nintendo Switch early
And remember,
next
this
year.
is like TGS week, so, you know, it makes sense that we're just getting like this kind of like weird dump of Japanese third-party games. Yeah, Sazin in the chat says it's late Vita Wii U all over again, just drowning in also ran JRPGs. Yeah. Yep. Hey, this isn't there like we're wrapping up. Here's a boppy tune while we just kind of here are the games we couldn't be bothered to talk about. But wanted to make these third-party partners feel seen. There's gotta be a thing at the end here, right?
Kirby's Return to Dreamland Deluxe is coming to Nintendo Switch.
Okay.
One day, a spaceship crash lands on planet Popstar. To help Magalore return to his home planet, Kirby and his friends set off on an adventure.
Mm-hmm.
In addition to sword, whip, and other familiar copy abilities, the new Mecha copy ability makes its debut. Blast foes from a distance, or punch them up close.
This is the Kirby game.
It's packed with other powerful
That you're-
moves as well. The game supports local play for up to 4 players on the same system. Plus, everyone can play as Kirby while using their favorite copy abilities.
Everyone can
There's
play
also
as
a collection
Kirby.
of sub-games to play. This includes the new sub-game Magalore's Tome Trackers, and returning ones like Samurai Kirby. All
right.
sub-games can
Yeah.
be played with up to 4 players.
I mean, we're already getting re-releases of these great Mario Party classics, so I don't know why you would want all these sub-games when we've got mini-games. Where does sub-game fall in the mini-game, micro-game? Like, is sub-game bigger than a mini-game? It's definitely bigger than a micro-game.
Pre-orders begin today on Nintendo eShop.
As part of
Return to
Kirby's 30th
Dreamland.
anniversary, a remake
That's the
of
Wii
Kirby's
game.
Return to Dreamland will be released.
It's not...
We hope you're looking forward to this game.
You know, dog, not
Thank
so
you for
much.
watching today's Nintendo Direct. This next trailer will be our last announcement.
Okay.
Please take a look.
Mario's starting a farm. Is this Arms 2? This is the sequel to Arms. Look at these long arms on these guys. The stretchy arms. Look at them. Mm-hmm. It's hard to not be highly suspect of it. You're like, wait a minute. That's pretty neat. There you go. Tears of the Kingdom. Or Tears of the Kingdom. I mean, I don't know. And a date. May. And that's it. You can hear some instructions on how to replay this video if you'd like to watch it again. There was... Well, that was underwhelming, I guess. I don't, whatever. Like, there was a ton of games in there. If you like those specific types of games, then you're like, this is the best thing that they've ever shown, all that sort of stuff. I mean, there's a ton of stuff, there was just game. But I wonder if that's any kind of... Oh, it was so much third-party stuff, and I think people are rightfully at this point. I think people want more first-party. They want the first-party bangers that Nintendo is not. Well, whatever. Like, think about it this way: when we think about what we classify as a Nintendo first-party banger these days, that Splatoon 3 just sold 3.5 million games in its first weekend in Japan. Like, the number one selling game, the number one launch in Japan, period. Like, they're going to have to start launching Splatoon games on weekends to keep kids from dropping out of, from missing school or something, Dragon Quest style here. With how well that game did. And so now think about what that does to Nintendo's trajectory and how, or what is Nintendo's trajectory when it comes to its classic franchises and bringing that stuff out. And, of course, you have all the speculation leading into these events because Nintendo hasn't had one in a little while. And you're like, okay, 40 minutes, that's meaty. And so you start to get like, oh, not only is it going to be the Breath of the Wild sequel, they'll probably announce a remake of this, and then weren't they doing Metroid and this? It's real easy to start slapping together all that sort of stuff that probably is still happening behind the scenes in some form, but they can't even get out and talk about Advance Wars at this point. So I don't know. Nintendo just seems like they're in such an increasingly strange place. And I think if we hadn't just had Splatoon 3 come out and sell gangbusters in Japan, I think there would have been a real like, wait a minute, what the hell is going on? But that, I don't know. That stuff is fine. That's a good long list of proper video games. I think bringing Miyamoto out and having most of his appearance devoted to theme park and the Pikmin mobile game, and then being like, by the way, Pikmin 4 is coming out. Like, that's not a great Well, whatever. It's not. I think there are a lot of people who are expecting other shit right now, so that ends up being a pretty underwhelming. Well, whatever. I mean, it's Pikmin 4. There are people who love Pikmin. I guess I don't want to undersell the value of a Pikmin 4 and the value of that announcement and stuff like that. But like, it just really feels like we are, at the end of the Switch's. Like this is, yeah, like people have been saying in the chat, like, we're seeing that kind of like late era dump of role-playing games and all that other stuff, similar to how we saw on stuff like the Vita and the Wii U and stuff, where, but so we're getting all that stuff out there. But yeah, no, that's yeah. Saz in the chat also says, yeah, we're late into the console's life. This is when bangers and bangers should be dropping. This is when development has hit its firmest stride, with everybody knowing how the hardware works now to push it, yet we're not seeing anything of note. Yeah, it's weird. The Switch has felt weird for a while, though. I don't know. Like, they launched with a Mario and a Zelda, and it was such a strong launch with two games, like incredible video games, by all accounts, right? And so, did they kind of shoot their wad on their franchises, on their biggest franchises, or the biggest classic franchises, I guess I should say, too early? And now people are ready for more from those games. And we're getting to Zelda. May is not that far off. They're finally willing to at least like put a date out there. Whether they hit it or not, we'll see. But you've got people going like, man, maybe there should be another Mario. But like, I could also see them waiting for another platform, another hardware revision, another big refresh, another console launch to revisit some of those franchises. And yet we see Splatoon 2 and 3 on the Switch, and Mario Kart is still getting DLC and stuff like that. It's just, yeah, I don't know, man. It's a weird time for Nintendo, but it just feels like kind of a weird time for the video game industry, as I've been thinking about more and more kind of the as we kind of get out of, or it seems like sometimes we're getting out of the whole pandemic stuff, and people are starting to return, whether they should or not, separate issue. But as things start to at least resemble normality, we're seeing across the business that things just aren't right. Things have not returned to normal on that front, and a lot of the development issues that have been stacking up for years and years still feels like it's casting a very long shadow over things. But also, especially when we get off the Switch and think about the other consoles and stuff like that, like, is AAA game development, is big old capital AAA game development just getting too expensive? Well, whatever. That's a separate issue. I don't know. And that's not really related to the context of a Nintendo Direct. With Nintendo, it just really feels like that they have stretched this generation on, and the lingering pandemic stuff there is potentially like, hey, it's hard to get chips, hard to make enough of what we're making now, let alone try to launch a new platform, a hardware refresh, a half step, whatever you want to do on the hardware front. Like, they kind of don't need to, because they keep selling. And so whatever, right? But then on top of that, even if it wasn't selling, it would be hard for them to go and launch a new thing. Yeah, I don't know. I guess a lot of people expecting big Metroid Prime stuff either here or soon or whatever, whether that's remakes or whether that's, Metroid Prime 4 or stuff like that. Like, I am not the guy to talk to you about Metroid Prime, other than to again tell you that those games are not that good and you're being crazy, and take it down a notch. And that, yeah, that's the sort of stuff that, when were they originally planning to have new hardware ready? I mean, that they're working on it at this point. Like, I mean, they're working on it. But like, you know, are some of these games getting held off for that now? Is that soon enough? Or did they get caught in a bind where they were like, all right, we're gonna hold off for the next console, thinking that that's just right around the corner, and then suddenly being like, we're actually not going to launch that hardware anytime soon because we can't. And so, you know, does that, you know, whatever, scheduling issues on top of chip shortages on top of everything else. It's not like Nintendo was the most well-oiled machine. Nanopus on the Discord saying, don't we know that 2025 is the earliest possible time for a new console based off the Mario Kart pass? No, I don't think they would let them hold that, let that hold them back. Also, I would expect at this point, and maybe this is just wishful thinking on my part, but I would expect that when it does come time for another piece of Nintendo hardware, that it still runs Switch games. So, like, architecturally, I assume that they would stick with something similar enough to where you could still be putting out Mario Kart DLC and it will still run on whatever they've got coming next, you know? Oh man, clap hands. That golf game is so the Japanese Direct had a new golf game from Clap Hands. Not everybody's golf, but you know, somebody's golf. I don't read enough Japanese to tell you what kind of golf that is. They registered a trademark not that long ago. Itsudemo Golf. Yeah. That's cool. Yeah, so, I don't know. Underwhelming. But yeah, yes, a good point coming out of the Twitch chat over here from Sigma Factors. The SoC on the Switch is a 2015 chip. You know, like we're coming up on a decade of that thing. Those games haven't run awesome in years, you know, like this hardware is getting older and older and older, and it's showing more and more. I feel like they're squeezing a lot out of it, and that's cool, but at the same time, I don't know, even Splatoon 3, you know, I started playing a little bit of that, and it's like, yeah, this is more of that. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, but yeah, I don't know. A very weird list of games. I think, you know, even if you remove it from like people's misguided speculation about what games were going to be here, I think if you just look at the games that they kind of have on the books and the franchises that have been dormant, and you look at this, like this reads like anything that's going to be a fucking big tier A, gigantic S tier, massive banger. Like at this point, they're just holding it for new hardware, right? But at this point, the new hardware picture seems so hazy. That I wonder if we're just going to lope on in this really weird way with the Switch for a while now, because of, again, as we said, all the things that are just in weird disarray around what the pandemic did to development and chip shortages, and what their timeline might have looked like if none of that had ever happened. You know, so if they placed some bad bets on chips, if they placed some bad bets on software and guidance for third parties, and now we're just going to see like this kind of cavalcade of like, not bad. Again, I don't want to shit on the 40 minutes of games we saw, because, you know, there's certainly some good stuff in there, and certainly like there's a lot of people that would be excited with one or more of those farming games. But do you think that is where is that where the Switch is going to be at from here on out, in terms of, hey, you know, we're seeing strong third-party support from some parts of the world, and we're going to keep riding that out, but in terms of like what you're going to see out of Nintendo first party for the rest of the original Switch's lifespan, here's Pikmin 4. And Bayonetta's coming out in October, and we're happy to get that out there. So I don't know. You know, if the Switch is still selling, then they don't need to move, right? I mean, they can kind of sit on this for as long as the hardware is moving, and it is sounds like it is still it is still moving. So they kind of don't have to go hard on launching new hardware, on promoting new hardware, and all this other stuff. You know, they just had the biggest weekend for Japan software launch in the history of ever over there with Splatoon 3. So Nintendo isn't really forced to do anything outlandish. They can sit there and go like, oh, these games, you know, like, of course we have new ideas for what we want to do with Mario. Of course we have new ideas for, you know, like at this point, Metroid Prime 4 has been pushed back, that it would be weird, I think, if it came out on this generation of hardware. Why not just hold it at this point? And if you're going to remake old Zelda games or, you know, the kind of mid-period Zelda games, you know, you could do it then too. I don't know. Depending on the compatibility of the new hardware. If it does end up running old Switch games, then maybe that's something that comes out across the board or whatever. But, you know, I don't know. I think the thing to remember is that Nintendo doesn't really have to do anything too crazy here. And so, you know, getting out there and saying, oh, they're going to do this, they're going to do this, they're going to do this. Like, yeah, they probably will. Like all of these rumors and leaks and products and all this other stuff, you know, is a lot of it is in the works. A lot of it is done, you know. Yeah, like that WarioWare game, I think was done before they announced it. You know, like Nintendo's weird. You know, Advance Wars is now in this weird limbo. Like, you know, that game's going to come out. They're not going to just go cancel it because of, you know, the situation in the world and all that sort of stuff. I mean, I think that would be a weird move. But yeah, I don't know. They're in this strange position now that they just don't really have to do much. And, you know, their stuff is selling, and they've got games in the works. They've got games that are finished and ready to go. And so they can just kind of sit back and roll out those games when they need to. Or when they, you know, I'm sure that some line crosses some other line on some graph and they go like, all right, this is the time for Fire Emblem. So let's get that together and put it out. As opposed to something like Zelda that is more like, hey, we are still actively working on this thing. They've got other games that are just like, yeah, it's wrapped up. It's done. We're just waiting for the right time. It's a pretty good place to be in if you can afford it. You know, to just develop a game to completion and then sit there and go like, okay, well, take a load off. We've got 5 finished games in a warehouse somewhere ready to ship. We just got to wait for the economics to move in our favor before we have to do anything else. It's weird. So, you know, that ends up being disappointing for people that want to see Nintendo's kind of classic franchises come back on a more regular basis and all that sort of stuff. But, you know, Nintendo has always been weird/bad at those sorts of things. In some weird ways, it feels really strange that, like, there's another Zelda coming out, honestly. Like, the idea that, you know, and especially something that, you know, I guess, like, it maybe makes a little bit more sense as, like, oh, this is something we're kind of, you know, putting together using the existing engine and from the last game and all that sort of stuff. But as more and more time goes on, the expectations start to increase in a way that you're like, okay, like, people are going to be a little bit less satisfied if this is just something that is an updated version of the previous engine and technology and all that sort of stuff. Like, the further away you get from Breath of the Wild, the more people will want out of it. And so if you put out something that is just like, here's a Breath of the Wild 1.5 type thing, where it's like a lot of the similar concepts and gameplay, but we've added this twist and this twist and this twist, then you end up with a Majora's Mask situation and no one's happy. Because no one likes Majora's Mask. It's true. All right, well, heck. That's a bizarre, it's a bizarre chunk of information there out of Nintendo. Out of first-party Nintendo. But, you know, there was a whole lot of third-party games that people are undoubtedly going to be excited about, and that's the sort of stuff that, you know, you kind of expect out of a Tokyo Game Show like time frame sort of announcement. And so, you know, Nintendo is just going to sit back and watch the numbers and let that dictate what they're going to do, I guess. You know, Advance Wars will eventually come out. Other stuff will eventually come out, and they'll have to have new hardware someday. I guess, right? And then we can talk about first-party Nintendo games again, in a classic sense, in a Mario sense, I guess, right? In probably a Metroid sense. Like at this point, like if you're not gonna, oh, who knows? I was gonna say if you're not gonna show the Metroid Prime, the new Metroid Prime stuff here, then clearly it's not gonna happen anytime soon. But at the same time, like, who knows? Maybe that game's done somewhere too. Speaking of being done, I'm done. I'll be back in about 2 hours for the podcast. Let's see here. Yeah, ABC says, can you speak to your experience of people trying to leak things before announcements and being wrong? You know, I think that there are a lot of, especially around Nintendo, you have a lot of like people that are like, I'm a leaker and it's going to be this and this and this. And there's a lot of weird stuff always floating around Nintendo when it comes to what they're doing. And it's, for some reason, it's just Nintendo with these people. Like, they're the people that devoted themselves to becoming, and a lot of them got blown the fuck out on the Switch Pro stuff. You know? Like, there were people lending these people a lot of credibility and going like, this person knows what they're talking about. And then that stuff all went up in smoke. And so a lot of the people that were on Twitter going like, I'm a Nintendo leaker. You don't hear as much about that anymore. But at the same time, you know, it's a lot of situations where there are a lot of moving pieces. There's always something in development. And you never know when something's going to actually get announced, you know? So there's bits of truth to a lot of that stuff. When you get to the people that are actually like experienced and in the, you know, that are out there using their real name, let's say, that's probably the big differentiator in a lot of cases, right? When you get people that are out there dealing in leaks and unannounced games and stuff like that, and they are putting their fucking actual face on a camera, and they are actually putting their name on a byline, and not just being like, I'm Party Lady 49, and I'm out here, and I got the dirt. I think that stuff ends up being super fucking weird. You know, but we've had that for forever. There's always been the anonymous leak person, your bitch ex, your, you know, and it used to be Fat Babies. That was a great message board for a lot of people talking shit. But usually that wasn't so much about unannounced games. That was more people going like, hey, did you know that Neil Nicastro over at fucking Midway sucks? Like, it was just like people talking shit about executives. But like, over the years, there's been a ton of people, you know, anonymous leakers and all that sort of stuff, and their track record is always very spotty. The Switch Pro stuff was where you started to see people, you know, because like Bloomberg was involved in that reporting. You know, multiple people at Bloomberg, you know, like a lot of Bloomberg reports out of Japan about the like, oh, this 4K Switch stuff is happening, and hey, did you know that Zynga has one? Zynga's got one of the new Switches, and they're working on, you know, and so you have to like trace that back and go like, I don't, you know, Bloomberg is a lot of things, especially the man. But you know, Bloomberg is a news organization, and so you presume that they have a certain amount of standards for reporting in terms of what do they count as a good source, what do they count as a bad source. Like when they actually are going to put something up, and when they are actually going to put themselves out there and say this is happening, you have to presume that went through a lot of checks, a lot of balances, a lot of other stuff before it made it out there. And so you have to wonder, how did they have multiple reports on this thing and get it so wrong? And how that happens, and it's something I can't really speak to this specifically, other than, you know, I checked in with a couple of folks who swore up and down that none of that stuff was ever true. And you're like, okay, well, who is getting the straightest shooters? You know what? We could. I don't want this to devolve into talk about wrestling dirt sheets, but it's not that different. Because at the end of the day, especially in the last few years, plans change, pal. You know, they can sit there and go like, well, here's what our timetable looks like for this, and this, and then suddenly go like, oh, actually, it's going to be way harder to get these chips than we thought, and the Switch is still selling really well. So we can sit there and think about, like at some point, potentially it was in their plans to do a half-step Switch and to do all this sort of stuff, and they may have even put together prototype units. They may have even shared that with limited numbers of third parties. It may have been the plan at some point, and maybe those plans are scrapped, and maybe those plans are still running. Maybe they know exactly what. I mean, at this point, actually, they probably do. But as I say, even then, maybe at some point they you know, were like, this is what the hardware is, and they started to lock it down. But yeah, I don't know. You know, anything can happen with that stuff, especially. Okay, anything can happen with that stuff, which is not actually entirely true. But over the last few years, everything has been so volatile that we've entered this scenario where kind of anything is possible in terms of like what really happened there, what actually happened. But like, how do they get sources on the record saying, yes, we have hardware for this and we're developing for it right now, for something that still hasn't come to fruition, for something that, as more and more time goes on, the very idea of a half-step Switch, a Switch Pro, whatever you want to call it, a Super Switch, seems more and more ridiculous, because now at this point it feels like we need more. More than just a half step for the Switch. More than just like, hey, we've bumped up this and that. Like the Switch probably just needs as much power as they can get it, and still maintaining a good price point, right? So who knows? Maybe that'll never be truly satisfying at the end of the day. But I will say the very idea of all those rumors of all the like, we're doing a 4K Switch and it's gonna be able to do 4K, and so it's more powerful. Like the very idea of that now, here in, you know, late 2022 seems preposterous. You know, it seems like they would need a lot more nowadays. You know, like the very idea of just like a Switch Pro and a lightly upgraded Switch, it's not enough. It's not going to change anything. But maybe it kind of, you know, if they start putting out games that only run on the new hardware and they have hardened that new hardware, that probably it does start to calm down third parties who are maybe getting a little bit spooked about the whole piracy problem on the existing Switch. And so you have reasons around that to maybe upgrade as well. And so what happened there is that there's a ton of moving pieces. There are always a lot of moving pieces in the video game industry, but these last few years, the pieces have been moving even weirder, and the pieces are getting moved for them by unforeseen market forces. And so I think just, you know, even if you go back to that Bloomberg stuff and go back to that reporting and assume all of it is 100% true, look at the world around you and what it's looked like these last few years, it's very easy to see why some of those things may have gotten derailed and didn't happen, if they were ever even true in the first place. Which, yeah, I don't know. I don't know anymore. It's kind of exciting in a weird way. Like, oh, fuck, man, I don't even know anymore. It's so crazy. All right, I'm going to get going. I'll be back around 10 a.m. for the podcast, and we'll talk about some of this stuff all over again. But also Ubisoft Forward and the 9,000 Assassin's Creed games that got announced. And, you know, important news like Babylon's Fall, the biggest stories of the day, and so on and so forth. So come back then. And then, of course, at 3 p.m. Pacific time, Sony's got 20 minutes of stuff. And we'll see what Sony ends up having. They said they're going to have, I believe they said PS4, PS5, and PSVR 2 information here. So We will see. Oh, that golf game's out now. That's out today. Claphan's golf game is on the eShop in Japan right now. I wonder if that's going to hit US same time. Looks like word from Twitter is that it does have multi-language support. So, whatever. In the meantime, hey, Fist of the North Star fitness box punching game. That looked cool. I'll play that. Why wouldn't you? Have a good one, everybody. I'll see you in a couple hours.